Good morning for those who have joined us for this morning's presentation on private college counselors, factors to consider. I'm going to give it just maybe 1 or 2 minutes just to have people join us, and we'll get started in just a moment. All right, we are going to get going. My name is Mrs. Russo. I am one of the counselors here at Mountain House High School. This morning we are going to be talking about private college counselors and the factors to consider if you are considering hiring one for your student or family. So our agenda for today, first we're going to touch on Mountain House High School counselors' experience and education. We are also going to touch on the support that your student will receive here at the high school. Someone says I am hard to hear, so let me make a few adjustments here to just make sure that you guys can hear me fine. Let me know if that sounds better. Okay, seems like that might be better. So we'll continue. Please let me know if any other issues come up. We do have Mrs. Myers and Ms. Islami online with us as well, and they're going to be here helping to address questions, but we'll also address questions at the end. All right, continuing. So we're going to talk about Mountain House counselors' experience and education. We are also going to discuss the support that your student will receive here as a Mountain House High student with our Mountain House High School counseling team. And then at the end, we're going to look at private college counselors and important factors to consider when making this decision. And we're also going to touch on some possible benefits of hiring a private college counselor for your student. All right, first we're going to take a look at what the Mountain House High counselors, what kind of experience, education that we have, just so we can look at the differences between a counselor at your student's public 9 through 12 school, high school, and then the differences between a private college counselor. So to be a high school counselor in a public 9 through 12 high school, all high school counselors must have a bachelor's degree, and then they must hold a PPS credential. So this is similar to a teaching credential, but it is specialized for high school counseling. In the Mountain House Counseling Department, we all also hold a master's degree in either education or counseling, but a master's degree is not required. Our team just happens to hold these degrees. The other thing that Mountain House counselors do to make sure that we stay up to date on information is we attend regular conferences. So the CSU system and the UC system are two that we go to every single year because things are always changing. And so when we attend a conference offered by the CSU, UC system, or potentially, through private schools, admissions counselors attending that, representatives from the school are attending that. So we're able to get up-to-date information about what the next year's application cycle may look like, ask any questions or clarifications that our team might have just based on what we're hearing from our students, and then also hear about previous years, what kind of themes and common things they were seeing. We also are able to collaborate with outside organizations. So this is application support from admissions counselors, college exploration sessions from admissions counselors, FAFSA support or financial aid support, and a lot more. Because we are a public high school and we are not a for-profit institution, outside organizations are often reaching out to the counseling team to present. And that may not happen if you're working with just an individual private college counselor. This is something that we have access to because we are a public institution. So let's look a little bit at what kind of support your students will receive from the Mountain House High counseling team by just attending or just being a student here with us. So in 9th through 12th grade, these are things that happen yearly. So students and parents can request an appointment with their counselor to discuss college and career goals and any questions or concerns that they may have. We are happy to meet with students and parents starting as early as 9th grade to discuss these goals. If you are interested in having an appointment, you just simply need to reach out to your counselor. So the student is able to do that by requesting an appointment through our counseling page on the website. Parents can send an email if they would like to be part of that meeting with their student, and we're happy to discuss some of the goals that your student might be setting for themselves or any questions they may have. We also have yearly college rep presentation. So a representative from colleges across the United States will come to campus or present virtually about their campus and answer questions for students. A lot of times we host these sessions during Success. So it's something your student is able to sign up for and attend if they're interested. We also have a yearly college fair where we invite colleges from across the nation to join us. This last year was our biggest college fair yet. I believe we had close to 30 campuses. I was out on maternity leave at that time, so my number might be a little bit off, but I believe it was about 30 campuses this year that students and families could go and speak with a representative from that school to learn more about that campus. So that's something we offer yearly. And then we also do our virtual college week presentations in the spring, where counselors will present on a college-related topic. We record those, and families and students are able to attend. So that's something that happens in the spring. We always send out communication about that. Specifically, in 11th grade, your students will receive a junior planning meeting during their spring semester. So topics of this presentation include two-year community college and transfer opportunities, requirements for applying to a CSU and UC campus, or if you're looking at private or out-of-state campuses, we discuss that as well. Essay writing, college research, Naviance, and more. Students have the option to choose an individual junior meeting with their counselor during their spring semester. So they're able to meet with their counselor during this time to discuss their career and college goals and preparing for their senior year. And then we also offer success sessions dedicated to our 11th graders to start college research, to start practice essay writing and things of that nature. In the 12th grade, we provide a lot of support for our seniors. Starting in August, they will receive a senior status letter. I didn't put this on here, but they'll receive a senior status letter and a junior status letter. So in the junior year, they'll get it in the spring. In the senior year, they'll receive it in August. And this letter communicates to students and families if your student is on track for graduation and if they're on track for 2 or 4 year college. So during junior year spring and then fall of senior year, your counselor is going to evaluate your transcript to ensure that you are on track for graduation and you are on track for 4 year college. And if not, we will reach out and tell you what you may need to do to get on track if that's your goal. Once you receive that letter, then we have our college application process presentation. And typically we do this in the student's adulting class during 12th grade. Counselors will come and give a presentation on the entire college application process, what it looks like, and what students need to start working on. Because really the fall semester of their senior year, students are dedicating a lot of time to apply to college if they are interested in applying to a 4 year campus. After that college application process presentation, counselors then start holding individual senior meetings. So every senior will have an individual senior meeting with their counselor. It's usually about 30 minutes long, where we discuss their career and college goals. So this is even if a student is not interested in four-year college, they're still going to meet with their counselor to discuss what their plans are for after high school. And we're able to really offer individualized support during this meeting to ensure that they are, meeting their goals. So during the fall semester, throughout the entire semester, we provide success sessions. So these are small group support sessions. So college application workshops, college application support questions, college essay writing, counselor questions. We offer it about 3 to 4 times a week. So our current seniors right now, a lot of them are utilizing that time to get questions answered on their application or have a counselor review their essay and give feedback. So we provide a lot of support during the fall semester, so students can really feel like they are getting the support that they need through the application process, because there's a lot that comes up, especially if a student plans on applying to multiple campuses. We can also provide additional individual support. So parents and our students can request additional individual meetings for college and career support. But one thing to keep in mind is that Mountain House High counselors are servicing over 450 students per counselor. So additional individual meetings is on an as available basis. So just be mindful of that. Plan early. It's always something we're reminding seniors about, because if a senior comes to us that final week when their application is due, usually we are bombarded with a lot of requests during that time. And so our individual support that we could supply at that time may be more limited just due to our time constraints. Mountain House High counselors will also take care of all document submission for students. This happens through Naviance. So we submit transcripts, school reports, letters of recommendations through Naviance to the colleges that your student is going to apply for. All right, let's shift our gear and start talking about the private college counseling sphere. So the reason why we felt it was important to address this is because over the last about 3 or 4 years, the Mountain House counseling team has noticed a significant increase in students using a private college counselor. And there can be some benefits to it, but there can also be some drawbacks. And so we really wanted to make sure that we shared all of this information with students and families so you're making informed decisions moving forward. And I do want to highlight that basically everything that you can get from a private college counselor, your Mountain House High counselor can do for you for free at the school. We're going to talk a little bit more about possible benefits, but I do want to make that known that we are here at the school. That is, part of our job. 1/3 of our job is to support students with their college and career goals. So it's something that's very important to us. And it is a service that your student can get for free, but they need to be a motivated student. So let's talk about some things that may help a student if, what they're receiving from the Mountain House High department is maybe not enough. So some things to keep in mind if and when you're going to look for a private college counselor for your student. So one thing to be aware of is that there could be a potential lack of credentials. Anybody can advertise themselves as a private college counselor. There is no credential, degree, or training required to market yourself as a private college counselor. So if you're hiring someone, you are at risk of hiring someone who has no training or degree in this field. So if this is something you are interested in doing, we really encourage families to have conversations with more than one individual to determine what kind of experience, what kind of training they have, and how do they maintain that as well, as far as staying up to date with information. Because you really want to make sure that you're hiring someone that has knowledge in this field and is staying up to date. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is the cost. Private college counseling can be extremely expensive. We often see people charging $10,000 or more per year to offer this service that you can get from free from the Mountain House Counseling team. So you really have to weigh the value there. Is it that amount of money worth it for your family to spend to get this kind of support? And some families are going to be in the financial position where they feel like they can do it. If it's a case where you feel like you are stretching yourself, please do not feel like you need to hire a private college counselor in order to get your student into a four-year college. The Mountain House Counseling team is here to support your student, and we're here to help them through that process. And again, it's a service that they get for free from us. So keep that in mind. The other thing we see happening is over-promising results. So a private college counselor may advertise themselves in a way to make families feel like they can get their student into the quote unquote best college, but really it's the student's own accomplishments that get them into the right college for them. No one, not even the Mountain House Counseling team, can guarantee admission to any campus or an organization, right? We guarantee your kid is going to get into a UC campus. So it's not something that we can guarantee. Incorrect information or out of date information. And this is something that's super important because we keep seeing it happen. So in recent years, the Mountain House Counseling team hasn't observed an increasing number of students giving information to fellow peers or sharing fellow information with our counseling team, information they may have received from a private college counselor. And unfortunately, what we're finding, a lot of this information is inaccurate or outdated. So we're not sure who students are working with right now, but the different individuals that are being worked with currently, the information that's being passed or communicated is not always accurate or up to date. One major one that I saw was a student came to me very stressed out about their SAT score. They felt like they didn't perform well. They were working with a private college counselor, and their private college counselor told them that they only had one shot at that SAT. That was their score, and they could not take the SAT again for a higher score. That is just simply inaccurate. Students can take the SAT as many times as they choose, and the highest score gets used. So that's just an example. There's been a lot of different cases where counselors have heard information that's just not true. So that's why we felt it was so important to share this information with families because of what we're seeing or hearing from students on campus. So there is, some benefits to working with a private college counselor. So I do want to highlight that. One thing that they're able to offer is a flexible schedule. Mountain House High counselors, we are only available Monday through Friday during school hours. If that schedule doesn't work for your student for some reason, a private college counselor is able to meet with students possibly on weekends or after school and can customize meetings to fit the student's needs. So that is a benefit that we're just not able to provide. Mountain House counselors, Monday through Friday, we're going to be here supporting students, and we do what we can during those hours. But outside of that, if you need a more flexible schedule, it could be a reason to look into a private college counselor. Frequent meetings. So when I say this, I mean families can choose how frequently they meet with a private college counselor. Again, we at the high school are more than happy to meet with students as much as we are able. But due to our large caseloads, and when we're talking about just seniors, we're talking about 100 plus seniors per counselor. So a frequent individual meeting is difficult to manage. So if your student is needing to meet multiple times a week individually to support them through this process, that might not be something that the Mountain House counselor can offer. We have our success sessions. We'll do individual as we can, but frequent individual meetings are more difficult for us to manage. Individualized research. So private college counselor may be willing to conduct research on the student's behalf to create a list of colleges that's going to best fit their needs. This is not something that we do as the Mountain House Counselor. We aid them in their research and offer guidance, but we're not going to do the research for them, whereas a private college counselor may be more willing to do it for them. Personally, your student is about to be an adult, right? They're about to take that next step. So this is actually something I would encourage they do themselves regardless, of course, with support. But we really want to start working with students to take ownership of their own education because, you know, in a short time, they're going to be an adult and on their own. And so we really want to make sure that they have the skills and are prepared to manage adulthood and that college education more independently. Something else that private college counselor that can aid with is time management support and deadline reminders. So they can be kind of almost that hand holder throughout the entire process to help manage your students' times for specific colleges or scholarships. But with Mountain House Counselor, we're going to be more of a reminder for those larger deadlines. So the CSU UC application, November 30th, December 2nd, right in that range. We're going to send reminders to all students about that. The FAFSA and financial aid applications, we're going to send reminders about that because those are a larger arching things that a lot of students are engaging in. But as far as managing their own specific deadlines for individual colleges, private colleges, and scholarships, we really think it's important for students to learn how to manage that themselves because, again, they're getting ready to take that next step into adulthood, and managing deadlines and having time management is going to be important to their success. So a private college counselor is able to be a little bit more hand-holdy than we can as the Mountain House counseling team, but something to consider is, do we want that hand-holding for your student? You know, we should be encouraging a little bit more independence at this stage. So that is kind of the bulk of the information we have right now. Mainly, we wanted to have this conversation with families because we really want to make sure that you're making informed decisions. This may be something that a student feels like they really need. And if your family's in the financial position to do it, sure, just make sure you're really doing your research on who you're hiring. But on the other hand, keep in mind that this is a service that your students get for free at the high school. So it's not necessary to spend the money on a private college counselor. That being said, is there any questions that someone wants to throw in the chat? I'm happy to address any questions that maybe come up. So I'm only seeing one question so far, and that was earlier about increasing my volume, which I think we managed that. But I will stay online here for a couple of minutes and see if any other chat or any questions come through the chat. This will be a recorded presentation you can access through the Mountain House YouTube. So if your student wants to go back and watch it, I know we do this during the school day. So if your student wants to go back and watch it and hear some of this information, they'll have access to that. So I'm not seeing any questions come through. I'm going to give it about another minute just to see. So someone's saying on here, private college counselor means for private college. So yes and no. A private college counselor simply means a counselor that you're hiring outside of your traditional counseling team. So it's a service that you're hiring, similar to if you have a math teacher, but maybe you need a math tutor to have additional support for your student. So it's kind of similar to that comparison, right? We are the Mountain House Counselor. They have access to us at any point throughout the school day. But if you need a little more additional support, maybe you need that private college counselor. So it doesn't have to be for private college only. They'll support students with UC and CSU applications as well. So it is a one-on-one support. Is there a limit on how frequently students can meet with their Mountain House counselor during the junior year? No, we never in any year have a limit on how frequently a student can meet with us. So if they need a meeting, if they've got questions, I would recommend for them to send an email to email to their counselor, and we'll schedule a meeting based on our calendar. I know for myself personally, when a student requests a meeting, usually I'm able to get to them within 3 days. Sometimes give or take a day, just depending on my schedule. How much do a private college counselor charge? Ballpark number. Again, it's going to vary. I know that there's different package levels where maybe you're paying for this amount of meetings, and then if you want more, then it would be this additional charge. But typically, the cost that we're hearing from students is $10,000 and up for a application season. So you're thinking about 6 months worth of work, right? Application season, about 6 to 8 months, and about $10,000 or more during that time. Can students come during flex to get help with their application? Sure. If your student has a flex period, they should send an email to their counselor saying, hey, I have flex during third period or whatever it may be. When in the next few days can we have a meeting to meet? And your counselor will schedule that meeting for your student. My son is in 9th grade. How do I plan sessions with counselor? Can we choose counselor in Mountain House High School? So students can start meeting with their counselor as early as 9th grade. For students, there is a counseling appointment request form on the Mountain House High website under the counseling page. I'll try to grab the link for you guys in a few minutes. So students can request a appointment using the form. If parents would like to be part of an appointment, they can send an email to the counselor requesting an individual meeting, and we'll schedule that based on our calendar. And then as far as choosing which counselor to work with in Mountain House, counselors are assigned by last name. So if you go to the Mountain House High website under the counseling section, you'll find the breakdown for the counselor's last name. So what caseload we work with. And then our email will also be listed there for all counselors. So for me, I work with students who are G-O through K. So last name G-O through K. If your student falls in that chunk of the alphabet, they'd be working with me. Can counselors help sophomores or juniors getting summer internships or able to guide on extracurricular activities? So for summer internships, when we are contacted by an organization about an internship opportunity, we will send that opportunity out to the population that it applies to. So if it's open to all students, we'll send it to all students. Sometimes, they're looking for maybe a student who's a 10th grader, an 11th grader, or whatever it may be. So when we hear about opportunities, we send that out to the entire community or the community that it applies for. Extracurricular activities that are offered on campus, your student can send an email or come by to see their counselor at any point, and we're happy to offer guidance on extracurricular activities or answer questions your student might have about that. There is also a website that I like to refer students to. Let me pull it up. It's called HS Navigator. This is a program that students can use to find internships. So, and I just put that link in the chat. It does do it by state. So you would want to make sure you put in California. And sometimes they are paid opportunities, so the student would earn like a stipend for being part of it. Sometimes it's free, so the student doesn't have to pay anything to be part of the internship, and they're not getting paid. But sometimes on the HS Navigator site, you will find things that you have to pay for. Don't ever feel like you have to pay for something to reach your students' goals. You don't ever have to pay for something. There's plenty of free opportunities out there that students can be a part of to further their knowledge in a specific field. Again, if your family's in the financial position where you can afford to pay for opportunities, completely up to the student and the family if they feel like that's something that they want to do. I just don't ever want to encourage people to pay for a service that they don't need to pay for. So someone's asking about the CSS form for financial aid. No, that's not a required form. I'm thinking that's the form that you through College Board. It's not a required form to fill out. It sounds like maybe you or your student might have some questions though about the CSS form and financial aid. So I would encourage you to just reach out to your student's counselor and they can address those questions about the CSS form and financial aid just kind of in general. Are parents allowed to reach out to Mountain House High School counselors? Yes. If a parent has a question or would like to have a meeting with the counselor, please contact us through email. You can find your student's counselor's contact information on the Mountain House High website under the counseling page. I'm going to post that in the chat for you guys right now. Just in general, on our counseling page, we have a lot of college resources on there. So I really recommend just kind of exploring the counseling page as a whole and having your student do the same. It's a great thing to do over the summer when there's a lot of free time or over one of our other breaks, because there is a ton of previously recorded presentations about almost all things college topic that you could think of. So there's a lot of information on there that students already have access to. As we continue to give presentations, we continue to update our website. So there's just a ton of information on there. I'm going to post that chat for the college resources on our counseling blog. So there's a couple links for you guys to look through. Let's see here. Should a student contact only their assigned counselor or contact email anyone listed on the Mountain House High website? So students and parents should reach out to the student's assigned counselor. If there's some kind of like major issue that happened, I don't think that's the case because all of our counselors are lovely. But if there's some kind of issue, you can reach out to another counselor and we can kind of see what's going on. But I would say that shouldn't be the case. You know, all of our counselors are great at working with our students and are really supportive and want to see people do well on this campus and just be well overall. So definitely reach out to the assigned counselor. And then if there's some kind of issue, you can always reach out to a different one or one of the vice principals. And we can try and support you with what may be going on. If your student is in 11th grade now, they can reach out to their counselor at any point. So through that counseling appointment form or through email works. Oh, it looks like there's some kind of issue with the links that I'm posting. I'm wondering if maybe this is an individual thing or if everybody's having issue with the links. Can maybe, Satish, I see that you are having an issue. Maybe someone other than Satish, if you're able to click on some of the links and see if you're also having the same issue. Just want to see if it's maybe individualized computer issue or maybe a broader issue happening. So it looks like they're working for other people. Satish, I'm going to take down your name and I will email you the links directly, okay? Any other questions I can address? So it looks like links are working for other people. Okay. Satish, it looks like you got it working. Awesome. If there's any questions, you're always welcome to email me and I can send an updated link if for some reason something's not working. All right, I think we got through all the questions. I'll wait for just another minute to see if something comes through. Someone is interested in the PowerPoint being shared. Yes, I will send an Aries communication out with the link to watch this presentation, the YouTube link, but I'll also include the PowerPoint presentation, so then you have access to the PowerPoint as well. Again, I just want to highlight that this conversation was really not to persuade you away from using a private college counselor. There's definitely some benefits to it, but it's more so we wanted you to know what we're seeing on our end, mainly that students and families should be doing their research if they're looking into a private college counselor. Make sure you're asking the right questions. What kind of experience and education they have? How are they staying up to date with yearly new information? Because the application in the college system as a whole is always changing. So we just really want to make sure that you are just making informed decisions, and that you also know that ultimately this is a service that the students already get for free from their high school team. And if they are if they use their time well, they're going to be prepared for this whole process. If they start early and they start their research early and asking their questions early and reaching out to their counselor, we're going to support them through it. We just require the back and forth piece from students, right? They need to tell us what they need, and we're going to give them the information that we have. And if they have questions, they have to let us know. Okay, it looks like we hit all the questions. Sounds like someone's going to be sending me an email, so I'll keep an eye out for that email. We are excited to continue supporting your students through their high school journey, but also getting them ready for life after high school. It's a stressful but exciting time. So we are here to support you guys as a family, but also your students. So please just feel free to reach out and let us know what you guys need. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Only a couple days left with our short week here. So it's going to be a quick week. You're welcome, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.